All right. Good evening. This is Corey Williams with Family First Life Genesis, and I am super excited for our guest today, Billy Abstance. Billy, hopefully I said your name right. I don't know why I have an issue. It looks just like it should be, right? And Billy is the president of Team Consistency, and I didn't realize until we just talked recently that you've been here for a year. So you are very consistent. I've only been here since, and like I just see you all the time. I see you watching on the dials. You're very consistent, no pun intended. And it's awesome to have you on today. I know people get a lot out of what we're going to talk about today. And congratulations on your record week, by the way. That's pretty outstanding.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Appreciate it. So how did you find FFL?
Well, I was at a practice company in April 2020. I was on salary there, and then the pandemic happened. And they just did some cutbacks. They were downsizing. It was a Monday morning. I kind of got taken off salary, put on 1099, and I've been following Andrew on Instagram for probably a year. You know, I wasn't being in the business. You see somebody posting numbers like even a couple of years ago. It's funny because the numbers they look small compared to what we're doing now. But seeing like people, hey, Hall of Fame producer making $400,000 in a year, and I'm thinking, how in the world does somebody sell life insurance, make that kind of money? They must never see their family. They got to be young and single. But I just kept letting it drip on me. You know, it was cool to see that stuff and kind of dream for the future. But anyway, came home that day, told my wife I had to make a decision. I mean, I have a beautiful wife, 5 beautiful young children. I had to make a decision because the products that we're selling at that company, you just couldn't do. I was actually told I couldn't sell simplified products for them until they figured something out. Instant message or a direct message on Instagram, Andrew.
You were already in the industry then?
Oh yeah. I've been in the industry 5 years.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. My mother and grandmother died back to back, and during that process, there was no protection in place. And an elder at our church came up and said, "Hey man, if they had any life insurance information, I'd look over that for you." And I was like, "What is life insurance?" Oh man. And that kind of started the whole. You mean a couple $100 a month would have made this look a whole lot different? He's like, "Oh yeah, man, not even that." So he got me into business. Hopped around from company to company, learned the business. Yeah.
Off, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you. But I DM'd Andrew, and he said, by the grace of God, he said, where you at? Where you live? I was like, North Alabama. He said, Dave Wichita will call you today. And Dave called me for about 4 or 5 days, 3, 4 times. I mean, he was on me. And then I finally called him back, and I was in the field. Yeah, I was in the field within, because I was already licensed and made the process a little easier. I was in the field within 2 weeks making money.
Wow. And it can happen that quick. It really can.
Sure.
My process was a little bit different. I was licensed. I've been in the business, as I told you, for a long time. But that's pretty cool, man. I didn't know that. I thought you were new industry, came from someplace else, from someplace else.
Wow.
But yeah, it's quite different, I bet.
Yeah, I might as well have been new.
Yeah.
As far as how this is structured and how many people you get to help it in a week, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I've been independent, and then I've worked for companies before, practice companies, and learned a lot from those companies and everything. And as I mentioned on a basis, like this, there's just nothing like this. And if you're in another IMO still doing the same thing we're doing, you're still missing out because there's nothing like this process. When we go through that all the time. So, man, 37 appointments, 13 sits, $20,458. How does one make that happen? And congratulations on your record week, by the way.
Thank you. Well, we was talking before we got online. I've been here a year, and I had some really good months. As we were talking earlier, it hit me. I think what I was going through is I was grieving some kind of lost potential, maybe, because I had a conversation with Robbie Wells. He spoke to our team that Thursday, and he just had this incredible like $29,000, $30,000 week, and he just explained that I've had big weeks before, but I looked at my calendar and there was still space. Well, full disclosure, I have to admit that I've never really door knocked before. Truth is, I didn't know it would work for me, and I didn't really want to, So he said, if you door knock 10 people, you'll get one, and it'll make up for. Because you sell one policy here, and not only you get the family, but it takes care of a lot.
Yeah.
And doggone it, the first door I knocked on, man, $4.50 lead because we had a discount with work spots. A guy said, man, I never would have answered the phone. I've had people calling me for a week. And it was a little over $3,000, cash back option, protected his mortgage, got his wife protected. I mean, it was, and right there, it's like something, man, right there. So that was Friday morning, about 9 or 10 o'clock. So I'm just now getting started. And that lifted something off of me, Corey, that I was so empowered. Like I had this like, not that I didn't trust the system, but I was only working. It's almost like there's 100% out there for me to get, but 90% will still get me an A. It's just this difference in mindset. I knew just enough to get an A, or I can get everything that's out there. Man, I was like, because during my dials, I said I'm going to dial because I'll get to 15 and stop. I just need 30 for the week, and I made up my mind I was going to work on Mother's Day because I thought people would be home. They would set appointments, not remembering they'd be home. Well, I had 6 on Sunday, only 1 was home, but $1,300 prosperity. Right?
Yeah.
I said I'm gonna dial into. I'm just gonna dial until, man. I'm gonna book until, and I booked until about this time, and I didn't get up, man. And I booked. It was 28, I think. I was going for 30, but I booked 28.
Oh my gosh!
For the weekend. Just what's going to happen? What the worst is going to happen is I'll do my little 3 or 4 grand, have 10 grand for the week. So what's the worst going to happen? But yeah, man, that's how it came about. I was kind of in this lull, not with. It's hard to explain. I was in this place where it was like, there's so much more out there for me. And then when I knocked on the door and that happened, whether I'd helped that guy or not, awesome dude, by the way. So I get to meet this awesome people. I was talking to one of our guys, Eric Gordon, about this today. I said, I said, doggone it. People are not going to be not protected because I'm selfish and getting my feelings hurt.
Yeah.
How dare I? Yeah. I can't be this man of God who serves his community, but be so selfish that his little feelings get hurt that he won't go knock on the door or make another phone call. And it's really that simple. It's like, I just have to do it now. Not for Corey, not for Dave, not for anybody, but I have to do that because I'm having trouble sleeping now.
Yeah. It's conviction. That's all.
Yeah, man, it's super convicted.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, no, but it's again, it goes back to being so simple, right? Sometimes something happens and you have this paradigm shifts. Shout out to Robbie Wells, like massive week, $30,000 week. I know, Dave, we were talking about it on the meeting today. I guarantee at some point during this year, probably in the next couple of months, Robbie will write 50 because he, like you said, he even said, and I wasn't even on that call, there's more space in my calendar. I talk to our guys all the time about you can do more. Are you doing more of the right activity? Are you doing, and I'm not talking about beer, IPAs, right? Income producing activities, going out knocking on the door. I always tell our guys, you knock on 10 doors, you'll get 2. Robbie is great at the year. He's in 1, but it's one of those things where you help 2 people by doing that. So it's going to take your business to the next level. And again, having a $20,000 week, I mean, most people would be stumbling all over this, but you're still saying you could do more. So that's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna twist this a little bit, and not from a negative spin. And I'm gonna, hopefully the way I asked this question, it makes sense. So you had 37 appointments. You had 13 closes, right?
Right.
Okay, so I don't know how many sits that was. Probably 13 sits at what the rate you probably closed. But that means 65% of the time, either the person didn't show up or you didn't close them. So you mentioned we're talking about paradigm. What do you do, especially being here for a year? You're seasoned, you've got enough calluses on you now. You don't care about the crazy people on the phone, because I've heard you make some of your dials and you say some hilarious stuff to people. Not filling out forms. But when you get to that point, like you've been through that, you've done that, you've seen it all from that perspective. How does one stay motivated in that 65? Because you could have been like, man, literally 65% of the people you either didn't sit with or didn't sell or they didn't show. Mm-hmm. So how do you get to that point in your mind to change your psyche that you'll do it again next week? And I guarantee you'll have a month here or a week where you're going to sell 20, 25, 30,000.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great question. I would say it like this. There's been times in my career where I only booked 16 appointments. And then I'm really in trouble. Right?
Yeah.
When I do that, I'm pretty talented. I'm pretty personable. If I can get in the home, I mean, it's pretty much a done deal. If I'm doing my job, right? They're either going to buy it or they're not, but they're not going to think about it. That's a rule. Zach Twardowski taught me that. We're not going to think about it. Can we agree on that? So about March is when I started my consistently booking 30 appointments. And I had to do that because I was booking 15, 25. And then when half of them, 1.5 of them don't show or you can't sit, then I have to rely on my own talent. And then I'm cheating the system. So I'll prepare for that. The 30 appointments helps me prepare for that. It used like, so you think about it. So I go knock on that door at 9 o'clock, right? If that's the only appointment I have that day, and I have 4 or 5 on Saturday and then 2 on Sunday, have 10 for the weekend, then I'm so desperate. I'm like, then you start doing things you don't want to get to have to do it. Oh yeah, we'll post date it. You don't have to take it. You start doing things that you know you ain't supposed to be doing. Business don't stay on the books. But I learned because with my personality, I'm able to put the client first always if I do the right activity and have enough appointments, because then I'm not relying on them to make a living. They can genuinely rely on me to work for them.
Yeah. That's good. That's really good. You're not worried about, again, you hit 3 out of 10, you're in the Hall of Fame, right? In baseball,
right.
You know, those things. You know, I went out with one of our agents today. They called, and I don't make a practice of doing that because I want them to learn and be able to not use a crutch, right? So I went out with an agent today. This was just this afternoon. Went out with this agent today. We get there, and she had a weird situation with something at the house before. That's why she left. Anyway, we go through all this stuff. We get there, and the lady says exactly what you just said. Well, I was really looking for $60,000 worth of coverage, but we knew all she was going to be able to get was 30 based on her health. Now, this agent was very sharp, kind of done some homework since they were going to come back a second time. So I say to the lady, I said, in short, I'm like, listen, here's the deal. You're 63 years old. Let's call you an adult at 20, right? So the last 42, 43 years, you had every opportunity to get insurance, right? Yeah. And I said, and you haven't. And I said, permission to speak freely because my mom would get me for being disrespectful. And she said, no, go ahead. I said, if you don't get this taken care of today, or if you tell us you need to think about it, because I can see that's the direction this is going, you already told us, your kids, you don't trust your kids to do the right thing. You have an opportunity today to take care of your family and your final wishes. She just looked at me. She said, now I know why you brought him. Like, it's genuine though. I wasn't being, because it happened all the time. I'm like, if you tell us you're going to, she said, I'll find it someplace else. No, you won't. Mm-hmm. We have 30 companies. You ain't going to find it no place else. And you ain't going to find it better because we care about you protecting your family.
Yes.
And the agent ended up writing the policy and protecting the family. The lady was very thankful and joking around with us and everything else. And I said, you got a peace of mind today. And she said, I absolutely did. And thank you.
Yeah, it's funny.
I got paid to do that today. Like, come on.
And got paid well. Ain't it funny how? So if that's the only appointment for the day you have, you could say the exact same way and it comes off different. There's just something about it. When you're set up, you bring an atmosphere. At least for me, I bring an atmosphere to home. It's like I just got to get the check, get you signed, and get out of here. Or I'll spend all day talking about deer hunting or whatever I see on the wall. You know. And then it's the system is set up, but I had to learn that, man. I mean, I had to learn that. I heard there's a couple of things I've heard a couple of heavy hitters here say. John Whitmore said, I prepare for the no shows with 30 appointments. I just took that for whatever reason that stuck with me. And in March, I started doing 30 appointments. And wouldn't you know it? Every time I book 30, no shows don't bother me at all. So then it becomes easy for me not to entertain with people on our team, the negative talk about people not showing.
Yep. Well, here's the other thing with your paradigm. Now you're door knocking.
Yeah.
So think about filling that space in. So you're going to go from, you know what I'm saying? It's just going to exponentially skyrocket what you're doing.
Right.
That's good, man. That's so good. So let me ask you this question. I hadn't even thought about this one until you just said that. So you said you were consistently doing, that 15 or so. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm a transparency person. That's about what I'm doing. I boggle myself down with all the admin stuff and everything and taking care of all this other stuff. And I'm transitioning out of that for the most part. How does one go from 15 to 16? I'm really curious what your answer will be here. 15, 16 to 30.
Oh, I can tell you how I did it. It was easy.
I'm curious.
You see this chair? I'm sitting in the chair and you see the whiteboard? Appointments booked. The goal is 15, and I got some things going on Saturday because it's a birthday weekend for 3 people in my house. So my drop dead goal is 10.
Got it.
And you'll see right there it said 15 in that market. So I started doing this accountability board, right? And listen, I could pencil with this thing, and y'all can whatever. And the little sheets I put on Facebook, I can lie about that. Yeah. And you never know. But I've been on this journey, and listen, FFL has expedited the journey I was already on because of the culture and the winning culture here. I would know that I'm lying. So there's an integrity issue there. And if the integrity factor is real, again, I told you I was starting to lose sleep, and I couldn't figure out, wow, it's the right activity. So I can't book any more appointments than I was booking with the same amount of leads, with the same amount of dials. So everything just had to be more. And more isn't always better, but better is better. So I'm sitting in this chair. I just wouldn't get out of the chair.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm just going to book, because it's easier for me to dial 500 dials and it take me 200 to start booking, and then book 15 in the last 2 hours. The hard thing for me, where I really have character building days, it's not hard for me to build character when people are no show and they're not answering the phone.
Right.
It's when I had a day, and I'll never forget it. I had a day where I had 11 leads. I made 16 dials and booked 11 appointments right off the rip between 7:30 and 8:30. Between 7:30 and 8:30. The hardest thing I've ever done in this business is stay on the phone from 8:30 until I got to 15 or 20 other number ones that week, because, I booked 11 appointments in the first hour. They're going to net me something because I'm that good. If half of them don't show and I sell half of them, that's still a couple grand. That's what went on in my head. And it was that day when I fought through that little mind battle, and I was very excited. Like, I was more excited about that than I ever was excited about dialing 300 times without booking one, because I stayed in it when it got easier. It's easy to stay in when it's hard, because that's what everybody celebrates. I stayed in when it was easy, because I know over the course of a year, this is not how it's going to be. And I can't have an agent ask me, well, what are you doing? Okay, let me tell you what I did. Yeah, I booked, like Paul McLean says something too, changed my life. You flip a quarter 5 times, you can get heads 5 times, you can get tails 5 times.
It's true.
It's still 50% either way, but you would only giving yourself 5 shots, it could skew your view. But you go 500 times, it's going to be 251 to 249 on average every time you flip it 500. So I just made the law of large numbers work better for me in my situation, because I made the numbers bigger.
Just more. You're buying more leads, making more dials, and you have the discipline to grab the chair, sit on the chair. I got a dry erase board right. I should turn my iPad and show you. I got the same thing on my board. My numbers just aren't as big as you are, so I'm learning something from you today too. It's funny doing those things, right? Doing the right things.
I'm gonna tell you how I did it too. You can hold me accountable. Dave can, Slack, Facebook, whatever. That means, it's not saying it doesn't mean nothing to me, but it just doesn't hold me to it.
Yeah.
I took the same whiteboard and I said, okay, so I have 5 kids: 11, 8, 5, and then 2 3-year-old twin boys.
Oof.
Yeah. We get after this. I said, okay, Daddy's appointment goes 15 on Monday and Thursday. Every time I hit 15, we're going to go get ice cream. So you asked me how many appointments I had today, and I had to be honest with them.
Yeah.
Changed everything.
Oh, well, yeah. Because they're going to bug the heck out of you because you promised them ice
cream. First thing, Daddy, were we getting ice cream?
Getting ice cream today?
I'm not going to tell them no.
And they'll let you know what you need to do to get that ice cream.
Yeah. Then now I'm instilling, okay, this is what it takes to get the ice cream. This is why Daddy's up here on the phone. That's why I'm at the office. And they're like, oh, okay, I get it now. And it helped me. Now the family's involved. Now the accountability is at a closer level. I can't, I'm not just projecting that out into the social media universe. Look at me. It kind of, like, my kids don't care how many people are liking and sharing my post. They care about the ice cream.
That's so strong. I'm gonna put a couple of our teammates out here. We got a father-daughter team here, and they won't care. Hopefully they don't. If they do, what's out here now? Tim Bilo and his daughter Mariana. She just got married, so her name's now Mariana. And
okay, I love Tim and Bilo.
Yeah. They did. They together. They submitted. Dad did the majority of it. So shout out to you, Mariana. Get to work. They did 50K in a month submit, which is pretty awesome. And she's been in 3 weeks. She's on a 3-week string. She wrote about 8,700 her first couple weeks. But this is the story I'll tell him. Tim told me this, so he probably doesn't even know. So he's probably in trouble now with Mariana. She called him, and she was kind of complaining about the leads and all this other stuff. And I love Tim, and I mean this when I say this. I don't say this lightly. I love Tim Bilo like a brother. He's always been there for me. We've been friends for 20-plus years. I love the guy. But here's the deal. He literally told her, if you don't want to do that, then quit. Because that's the job. That's what we do here. And it's bigger than you. It's bigger than you. It's more important than you. Those people need you. You came here, you took the test, you did all the stuff and everything else, and you're here. So you have a decision to make. And then she goes out and writes a couple grand and helps a couple more families. But she has a different paradigm now, and she just got it. So I look at that as what a blessing, what a great start that he has the mental fortitude to say, this is what this is. It's the same thing you did with your kids. It's just accountability.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's great, Tim. Shout out, Tim. That's good. That's a good father right there. You know, I write on my dial sheet. This is how I started writing little notes on my dial sheet. This today's. I always put, Lord, send me the families that I can serve. And I mean it now. When I first did, I was like, I'm just trying to, show myself. I'm just trying to get any kind of favor I can. Because it's when you first start and you've never done anything like this, it's tough. I can empathize with it tough. But the training we have here is not only the abundance, but it's there's not a lack of quality in our training, no matter who you go to, who you call.
No.
Like, as long as you call somebody who's doing something better than you, nobody's not going to help you. Nobody's not going to help you. And then you listen, if you're consistent with whatever team you're on, their trainings, their calls, all the YouTube and all the podcasts. Sean says over and over. By the way, if you're missing Sean White's call on Saturday mornings, and that's available to you, shame on you. I mean, you're costing your business. You're slowing it down by 50%, in my opinion.
Wow.
You can listen to him. But anyway, he says these people, they all want insurance. They all need insurance. And you know what? If they live in America, they can all afford it. They're not always going to all buy.
I just told somebody that, not in those exact words, but I said even people that are on, and I apologize if they are, but even people that are on Social Security, they can still afford something to bury themselves.
And it's far greater. Like the little $25 a month is a lot less burden than $7-8 grand.
That's right.
It's going to happen without a doubt. 100%. Especially some of the people we meet with that are unhealthy, and they fill the form out for a reason. So it's just being an advocate for them, being an advocate for the client instead of advocate for my bank account or my bills. And this thing is so sweet, y'all. This thing is so sweet. You get paid so well that you can take just a little bit of time, build your finances up to where that doesn't matter. Then you can pour all of it back into your business, which gives hiring more agents, give more people this opportunity. And the most important thing is you're seeing more people that are untouched by the life insurance industry because they're filling out forms.
Yeah.
And there's so much peace of mind. You could really change. I don't think we understand the impact in the earth it has when we take our generation, like this little wave of people. We're protecting $9 million a week in families, right? Over the course of time, how many families? This is how I see it. Now, I'm a man of faith, and this is how I roll. I'm not trying to sell you nothing. I'm just telling you this is how it is. How many families are going to be kept together now because of financial burden of a sudden death didn't tear them apart? What's that do for the earth? Soon our kids or grandkids will look outside and it won't be so crazy out there because we hit the green button, or we knocked on a door, or we said, "Hey, Mary, you're 72, haven't saved a cent. You're not going to save $129. You're going to die without insurance." That's the only two options we have here. Boom.
That's so good, and it's true. Like, it's absolutely true, because if they don't, it's the same thing I told that young lady today. If you don't do this today, you're not going to do it. And she said, my kids are going to fight like cats and dogs. Then you have an opportunity to fix that today.
Right now. We'll get you approved. You'll be approved and I'll leave the home. You don't have to wait. None of that. And I'm your advocate.
And we did. And it's awesome. And me and the agent walked outside, and she's excited because she helped protect a family. I'm excited because we helped protect a family. I'm like, I met a cool person today. It was just awesome. It's a win around across the board.
Yeah, I don't know if there's not a more noble product in the marketplace there's not. Yeah. Nobody's ever said, I wish my dad, like, you're handing somebody a $300,000 death claim check. They're never going to say, man, I wish you hadn't got that. You really did hoodoo him out that $150.
Right.
No, they'll be like, oh, praise God. And all of a sudden, this is a tax-free benefit to my family. In most cases, they're better off than when the breadwinner was here.
Yeah. Somebody told me the other day, he says, well, I got somebody that here in St. Louis, this is funny, you'll like this. I had somebody, one of my buddies that I grew up in high school with, his family owns the mortuary down the street. I said, okay. And he says, so I'll just go down there and I'll get a check. Ralph, you're 77. You ain't gonna do that. And I said, here's the deal. You're gonna go down there. They're gonna tell you it's $150 a month. This policy is $169, so that's one you said you could afford and you like. I said, if you make one payment and you die next week, they're gonna be able to bury your feet. Yeah. What are you talking about? I said, because you're only gonna be covered for as much as you paid for.
That's good.
So keep your head out so they can see you. They're gonna bury your feet. So you want your whole body or your feet. Because we get this in place today. If you pass tomorrow, your family's gonna be taken care of. Man, that's tough. I'm like, and he goes and he gets his checkbook. So I mean, it's just one of those things.
They've never looked at it that way. They're like, oh, since you say it that way, That's exactly what's going to happen.
But we need to be able to have the common sense to have those conversations with people and not let them off the hook, because we know what we're doing is good. We know what we're doing is right. And we know what we're doing is going to help them pass a legacy to their family. Yeah. That's so good, man. That's good. I could talk to you all day. I knew it was.
Yeah. I love it.
Hey, so last couple things. So you're also building a team, man. You guys had a pretty solid week last week, over 46K.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
How does one do that? 20K in a week, and your team does 46. So,
well, it's less about me, more about the team, really, and the systems in place. Just if the system works, if you work it, if you trust it. Like I said, if we all trust ourselves and our own ability, I mean, that's what the other 100,000 agents in the country are doing outside the 6,000 that work for FFL. You know, they have to trust their talent. And you just can't, and it's my opinion that our system is so good that you're never put in a position to do something you'll regret doing here.
Right.
Never.
Compensation on down. I mean, it's everything.
Compensation, leads, you know, we got bad leads. Okay. I bought so many leads. Here's the most incredible thing. Like, if you're watching this and this sounds too good to be true. Okay. Got my taxes done, right? It's the first time I've done it as an entrepreneur, right? So we got them back, and I invested more money in my business last year than I made the 2 years prior as a household. And so if my wife was even on the fence at all, I showed her that little bit of information. She was like, "Oh, wow." I was like, "Yeah, it just makes it's just the most beautiful thing in the world right now."
Yeah.
Hands down.
And it's a win-win for everybody. I know we talk a lot about, you know, the money we make and the people we help, but it's true. I always say, it ain't bragging if you did it. It's true. And you see it across one part of the country to the other. Speaking of that, what you just mentioned a little bit ago, I did a podcast with one of our teammates, Kevin Gilbert, earlier this week.
Yeah, my man.
Yeah, Kevin, he's hilarious. So we make fun of him all the time with his accent and stuff. He's a good dude. So
I'm like, he called me. I was like, how does anybody say no to you with that accent?
I know. Well,
that's
the thing. Yeah. So his first 8 weeks, or he only blanked 1 week at 48,000. He submitted $48,000. And here's the deal: what he said to me on the pod, I didn't even know it until we were talking, and he brought it up. He sold $8,600 the other day, which means he roughly helped between 6 and 8 families.
Right.
He made more in a day. Than he paid in taxes. And the guy, I said, so I asked him, I said, have you ever made 6 figures? He goes, never. The guy's on pace for $317,000 this year.
Yeah, dude. He created like 13,000 this week, didn't he?
13 and then 14 the week before that. It's crazy. I mean, what people can do here. So I don't know, man. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, Bill. It really has. It's fun to see people, you know, winning, and then to know that you're a God-fearing person and you're doing good things. You're putting other people first. That's why you can't help but win. Your 5 kids and your wife. They're lucky to have you, brother, and we're lucky to have you here at FFL.
Thank you.
Last thing before we let you go, I know you're building a team. Obviously, I know you're in. You say Northeast Alabama. Is that right?
North Alabama, yeah.
North Alabama. I know you're building a team and all that kind of stuff, and obviously selling at an extremely high level. I know I'd love to be coached by you. So if somebody's looking for life insurance or looking to join Team Consistency, how do they get a hold of you, man?
Yeah. Also, Facebook, Instagram, Billy Abstance. Phone number is 256-476-8987. I'm very active on all platforms. Just either direct message me, call me, text me. I'll get back with you within 24 hours.
That's fantastic. Billy, thanks for your time, man. Enjoy your evening with your family. You got the 15. I thought there was 14. I was going to say you got one more appointment to set.
No. We had 15.
Okay. I didn't see As I mentioned to you earlier, man, if there's anything, I know it's great to cross-pollinate. Everybody's got different ideas. It's just like you mentioned with Robbie, the door knock. You've been here a year, and he says that all of a sudden you go out now. You've added that to your quiver, and you're already really good at what you do. There's anything that we can ever do here with Team Worldwide, which is Tim Belo or myself with Genesis, we're just a phone call away, man. We really appreciate your time. Keep up the great work. Keep building.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Love you.
All right. Love you too, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, buddy.
Take care.